Hi everyone, welcome to another part of our data analytics technique series. We are currently in part 10. We'll be talking about general tips on how to excel as a data analyst, or what are the things you need to do to be a great data analyst. So I would say once again, if you've not watched a previous video, go back to watch them because they are going to really help you to understand this particular part of the series. So first thing is, for you to be a great data analyst, is that you want to use the internet to your advantage. So simply Google searching, simply watching YouTube videos, simply learning, it's going to help you. Things are evolving, and there's just so many information out there that you can learn all by yourself. If you are trying to conceptualize analysis, or somebody asks you to do something, or you're not sure about something, you can always check Google. So when you go to Google, look at the various pages, Stack Overflow, or just check it to video. How do you create a bar chart that does this? So before you know how to phrase those words, you can basically start to rephrase so you get like the appropriate video. That is why it's essential that you understand the fundamentals, because even the best of us, or the experts, is still doesn't know everything. So there are things where I have an idea about it, then I can do a research on it. That is why this series, we are talking basically about the fundamentals, and not just like how to execute or how to analyze in itself. So yeah, ensure using internet to your advantage is not a taboo, and I think you should just use it wisely. Also, this might be a little bit subjective. Also, use AI to your advantage. A lot of time, some people are still not buying into the idea of AI right now, but interestingly, AI has come to stay. It was also when calculator was first invented, people felt like calculator was going to be a distraction for students. But what happened was that it allowed teachers to be able to give more complex problems to students to solve within a short period of time, because they now have an added advantage. So AI will not replace you. It's only those who use AI that would replace you. So if you have a friend who is a data expert, and you have to ask them questions, so take AI as such of that thing whereby you can ask. So when I mean AI in this sense, you can either ChatGPT or Gemini. There are so many tools out there that are free. So you're trying to analyze the data. So you can say, oh, this data is a categorical data, a numerical data, or I have two numerical data. What are the kind of analysis I can run in Excel where I'm trying to click this, or I'm trying to install this software? How do you help me? So those are like things you could do. So AI will be more useful if your line of data analysis is into more of the coding aspect. So if you have issues with your coding, it could help you debug your code. So debugging just means to help you fix a code. So like the way bugs sound, like it's like an insert, right? So debug, it takes away like whatever is not like okay in the code, right? So, and there's a story behind debugging, how the word debugging came in. So use also, I think most importantly, try to use with sense. Don't just, blindly copy. So if you have with some organization, let's say as a big data analyst, you can't copy an AI code into their development. Like, it would not make sense for you to just copy a ChatGPT code straight up into like what you are building. So you want to be careful about that if there's a policy like that. So you can just use AI to get a sense of what you're doing and to help you work things better. Yeah, moving on. So try to visit like other learning platforms like LinkedIn, Coursera, YouTube. You want to ensure that you keep learning, because that's one of the ways to learn as a data analyst. One of the things we've said continuously is the fact that for if you learn more, you would be able to earn more. So you can't know everything. There are different layers to data analysis. There are various complex analysis that you would have to learn so many complicated things. But the good thing about it is that by the time you know the foundation, you can always build up and learn more by yourself, or taking more courses on various platforms, or even not just limited to platforms that I mentioned here. Um, so one of the things you could also do is to join association or communities of learners. So how you could do that is to search on Google. You can search for Google and search data science community. Also on your X, that's Twitter, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, there are different data science or data analysis community that you can set. There's also like Slack community. So these are opportunities for you to like get to meet people and connect with them. So also one of the things you can do is also to connect to people who are data experts on LinkedIn. So you can get to see their posts, what they are doing, reach out to them and ask question about what is the current industry trend. So you want to put yourself out there because that's one of the great tools in being a great data analyst. You also want to attend on-site meetings. So that is if you're in a location where they have regularly on-site meetings for or meetups for, let's say, data experts. So you could also get to go meet up. So yeah, that's one of the ways to grow and get better and also to network or to, get jobs and things like that. So other things you could do, you could also like, register, create an account on Upwork, Fiverr. So those are ways to like get jobs and start to work on minor projects to you get on to the bigger projects. So one thing a lot of people don't want to do is to ask for help. So try to ask for help, reach out to people, reach out to your colleagues, ask online. Don't be shy to ask for help. And I think one mantra we've always encouraged is that give yourself a time frame that you want to work on a project or you want to debug a project, or let's say I only have 3 hours to work on this project, and in that 3 hours you could not figure it out. One thing you could do is if you find yourself stuck, one of the approach that has always worked is to take a step back and allow your brain relax and go back to look at the project. If after you go back to look at the project, you still cannot, try to ask for help from somebody. So, and by the time you ask for help, then you are also invariably indebted to help others. So that is how the community keeps growing. So the community gets better by being able to ask for help and being able to offer help willingly. So also reach out to people online. They don't have to be people that you know personally. You have a project that you're working on, you got stuck. Ask people, well, how do I fix this? Or what kind of analysis do I run? So it doesn't make you sound stupid. It's not a sign of weakness. Um, Other thing is also is to showcase your work. So if you have projects you've done before now, try to go to YouTube or whatever platform to ask, how do I create either you're a data analyst or how do I create a data analyst portfolio? There are different platforms you can create a portfolio and showcase your work for free. And so it gives you this credibility when you reach out to potential organizations or potential clients reach out to you to want to get to work with you. So you can show them this is what I've done. And if you are more into the coding skills, you can have a GitHub profile where people can see also your past work. But some of the things you could also do is to post on LinkedIn. You could say, oh, currently I'm learning data analysis and I want to be sharing my learning journey with you all in the next few weeks. So you work on a project, you post it, you learn something new. So talk about it. So that's how you show how that you are great, because what makes a great data analyst is not just being able to analyze data and knowing the techniques. So these are like really pivotal tools that we felt that's very important that we also talk about here in Belonzi. Other things you need to focus on is ensure you data ethics. So data ethics is try to report the right thing. If you find out that the result is saying A, don't go and say it's saying A.1. So say what it's saying. And one of the things you also want to do is that there are some things you can mistakenly give a wrong interpretation of a result. So that's why a data analyst has to be very careful. Yeah, if you're working with a team that somebody sort of cross-check where you work, then you are okay because they can catch the error as soon as possible. You don't want them to always catch an error in your job regularly, and so they might think you are doing that intentionally. So when you are done with your analysis, so the best principle is to go back again and try to just cross-check to ensure that you actually are coding the right variables, especially like the important ones. So data ethics is reporting the right result not manipulating things to dance to your tune. And also, like, one of the things, I mean, to encourage you to learn more coding skills. The world that we are going to right now, a lot of projects is going to be high level, high collaboration, where you have to be able to replicate things with a line of code. And although that's quite subjective, some people are saying coding might actually go obsolete because when there's AI to give us a bunch of codes. But yeah, just keep improving yourself ultimately. And another things you could do is to also improve your communication skills. So improve how you present either on slides. I mean, you could go and learn like presentation skills on Canva or Coursera. Just get better at your communication skills because no matter what you know or what you can do, the ability to communicate yourself in words and writing is very pivotal. So people would only like buy the idea as much as you can sell the idea. So it is how you can sell your what. And also, the next slide, we're going to be showing us how to use Cargo. So Cargo is a website, or is one of the websites to get like a whole lot of data from. Most of the data on Cargo, or most of like Kaggle is centered around people who are doing coding related things. So probably high level, maybe data analyst or data scientist. Or Kaggle is also one of the best places to get data. So I'm going to be showing you um how to navigate Kaggle. So when you want to use Kaggle for yourself, it's become easier. So if you are a data analyst, you can go to Cargo and download data. So without further ado, let me just show you what it's going on. So this is the website for Cargo. Um, if you have an account, what you have here might actually be here. So it doesn't matter. So you need to register if you don't have an account for you to be able to download the data. But you can actually select data without having to download the data initially. So let me imagine you've created an account. So I click on data set. So this is it's not code, just click on data set. From the data set, so you see there are different options. So it tells you all data sets, computer science, education, classification, NLP, data visualization. So we can just click on this, but this is, you might not do that. So it shows you different data sets. So one of the things is that there are like millions of data sets. So from this filtering alone, we have over 5,000 data sets. So how do you know a very good data? One of the things you can do is to come here and click on this hotness. So and click on most votes. So these are the votes. So votes basically means people who have voted and said this data is very good data. So you want to pick a data that a lot of people have used. So that's like you can use usability, updated, new, hotness. But most times I just use most votes. So it shows the data based on the most votes. So also one of the things you want to do is when you're looking at it, so try to look at the number of files that are attached to the data. So this says one file CSV. So CSV is comma separated. I think I don't know what that V means. I've forgotten. So it's CSV files. So they are like Excel files and all. So one of the things that could help you is if you are checking the data and it's saying it has more than one file. Let's say two files are still okay. But I say it has like 9 files, it means that you have like 9 different data sets that you have to like join them together. So if you're trying to do a project that is quite straightforward, you don't want to click on one that has more than one file. So that's one thing you want to be careful about. So, but by the time you do more complex projects, you can pick ones that has more than one file. So let's click on this. So one of the things we do, so this should have a metadata or a data description. So if we do not, this is about the data, it's not giving us more of the metadata fully. So it just tells us Netflix is the popular streaming platform. This tabular data set consists of, it just shows us what it consists. It's not necessarily like much of a metadata. Um, So yeah, before you download the data, you can see like the columns that are there. So sometimes if there's so many columns, it's not going to show you all. So click on this and ensure that you select all. So but if you have like, let's say 50 columns, so you might not want to select all. So you can try to take away something like show ID so that you can see you can take away some things like, or you could just leave them. So select all. So from there, one of the ways for you to know a good data set is that to quickly look at the column and try to look at what do you think will be the central theme. What do you think will be like the major variable? Like, is it the outcome variable or the predictor variable? Also, one of the things you want to look for in when you search for data sets in on Cargo, you want to pick a data set that has both numerical and categorical data. So for example, this is already telling you we have 70% movies and 30% shows. So that's like, it has 8 categorical data. Again, this one, it just has unique value, so we can analyze this. So this also has unique values. This also has unique values. This is like dates, actual release year. So yeah, this is like something like categorical. So these are like, also look at, we have TVMA, others. So these are things that we can do. Also categorical. Um, this is also a little bit categorical. So there are no much numerical data here. So you can decide to say that I'm not sure if I really want to use this data because there's no numerical. So you can't do so much of analysis with it. So it says compact. Um, so we can then go back and go to data sets. So you don't have to filter. Let's say you're interested in, let's say, finance. Just search finance. So whatever you're interested in. So by the time you search finance, so click on the come here again and click on most votes. So one of the things, the files can be very large, so you don't want to always download. Look at this. Yes, it says it has 8,000 files, so you don't even want to open it. So this has like one file, credit fraud, card detention. So that's the project. So let's see if this has a metadata. It doesn't. It's just telling us about the data description. So we come again. So it's just going to show us 10 out of 31. So here we kind of select all so that we can see everything. We see right here we have some numerical data, numerical data, numerical data, numerical data, numerical data. They're all just numeric right now. The other one, the issue was because it was categorical. So so let's say we want sales. Let's search for sales. Let me come back here again and click on data set and click on sales. So it actually takes time to find a good data set. So most times, if you do not have a good data set, you are going to be stuck with the kind of analysis you are doing. So that's like a job of a great data analyst is to know how to pick a very good data set. So you can see even before you do analyze that, oh, this data set is good. So this is video game sales. So let's click on it. So this one has like a metadata, right? It says rank means in rank over overall sales, the game name, the platform of the game, the year of the data. So if a data has a metadata or like a code book, it's showing you an indication that, oh, this might look like a very good data to use. So it says, so let's see here. This has like a unique value. This has like categorical. This has like also categorical. This has categorical and it's categorical. This is just one numeric. This might pass. Yeah, so this data might pass. Let's search for one more. Let's say let me see, COVID-19. Oh, I think that might be a little, let me see, education. Uh, oh, another thing is, so you could come here and just filter, like, let's say, let me say data visualization. Scroll down, retail sales analysis. Also, from the size of the file, you can know how much of um like you can know how much of like data it will be, like if it's going to be a very large data set. So this is showing transaction information. Not sure this is it's not a code book. So 16. So typically you might want something that has like a lot of columns so that you can sub-select. So let's click everything, select all, apply. So he has it here, just like a categorical data. He has a categorical data awesome, categorical data, categorical data, categorical, unique, categorical. This is like maybe numerical. Yeah, this is numerical. So as you look at your data, one of the things you need to start looking out for when you pick a data set, so you need to look at, before you analyze, so what are the potential questions I can ask? So let's pick from this. Do we want to say that, assuming there's a column here that says price, do we want to say, is there a relationship with the condition of the vehicle and the price? Selling price, this is the selling price. So we can say, okay, what are the types of vehicles people buy more? Or what is like the color, so right? So this is you working on project yourself, and this is also like a skill you need to develop as a data analyst. By when somebody gives you data, you can know if the data is good or not based on whatever description. So you start to look at it comes with answering simple questions on how people would think, and you try to, so by the time you can join either one variable or either two variables together, by the time you're already phrasing three variables together, it's already becoming complicated. So there's a way you can analyze when it comes to, right, if it's just one variable, like what is the average price of the car sales, that's just one variable. If you say what's the average price of the car by the odometer, so that's already two variables. So if you say what's the average price of the car by the odometer and by state, that's already three variable. So the more variables you're combining, the more complexity to analyze. So if you are good, then you're also good to go. So one of the things you can do is, even though you have three variables that you've constructed as a question, what you can do is, so far you are able to identify which one is the categorical data, which one is the numerical data. You can then go to Google or go to YouTube video and say, how do I create a visualization or a bar chart for when I have one categorical data and two numerical data, or two numerical data and one categorical data, or I want this to show as this. So because you know the kind of phrases to use, it's going to help you in your Google search. So that is like basically on how to use Kaggle. By the time you're using more, you're going to be more familiar with it. If you are into the coding area, so in the coding part, if you go to the codes on this particular data, if you click on it, you will see people that have worked on the project with that data. So you can technically just replicate. So this person did not really do much. So, but if you can go to some other persons and see how that let me click on the oddness for this as almost vote. So this person did, so for that particular project, so this person say they did the analysis. So you are going to see their visualization and things like that, what they did, how the result looks like. I think it's taking a while to load. So from there, you can even, if you're not coding, you can get an idea of the kind of analysis they ran. So here they are trying to inspect their data. So here you see they did the distribution of year product of all cars. Then they did. So this was just on the y-axis was year, on the x-axis, on the on the x-axis is the year, on the y-axis is value. So this is the bivariate analysis. So the value of the car and the year. So and that's it. So that was one thing they did. This is a very messy pie chart. So you don't want to do something like this. Even though this is like a result, so it just doesn't make any sense because it's like numerical data. So that is why we say you cannot or you should not do like a bar chart, a pie chart for numerical data, or when there's just so many levels. So distribution of year car product. So you can check different ones. So from looking at the data, you can try to say, what are the kind of questions I can phrase? Then you can look at people who have used that data. So it's like coming from, you already picked the data. This is the data card. Then you look at the codes. So that's that on that. Moving on. So just note that you should keep learning and familiarize yourself with what we've said today and a journey of 1,000 miles. Indeed, start with a step. We would love if you could subscribe to our various social media channels and also visit our website, or you could send us an email at info@velonte.com. Thank you for your time. Watch out for our next video.